Where's my run? Hey, what's poppin', everybody? Happy Halloween. It is indeed October 31st, Monday, October 31st. Happy Halloween. Got my little costume for work later today, just so you guys can kind of see it. My entire life, I've been told that my doppelganger is Orlando Bloom from Pirates of the Caribbean when he was Will Turner in that movie. Wasn't able to really find the stuff to make Will Turner, so I ended up just doing Jack Sparrow. Even got me a jar of dirt right here for my costume later today at work. Just thought I'd kind of make you guys laugh a little bit before the video gets going here today because it was brutal yesterday. Let's go ahead and recap it. 0 for 3 day. We were on an absolute heater. I think we were like 8-1 the last couple of days. Finally came to a screeching halt last night. The lock of the day, Paolo Banchero over 22.5 points. Just never got going, I guess. Never really, he wasn't as aggressive, I guess is what I say. I anticipated yesterday, if you guys remember yesterday, I said, I don't really have the numbers to back this one up. Just thought he was going to be a mismatch problem. Just never really got aggressive with it. I thought he was going to be a lot more aggressive attacking his mismatches. Just really wasn't. He was due to have a bad game. Even though he had 18 points yesterday, that was kind of the bad game he was due to have. And just ended up happening for us yesterday. Evan Mobley and Kevin Porter Jr. both missed on their plays by just one. I'll take it because, you know, we hit that crazy honest win by just one the other day. Evan Mobley comes a rebound short, had 4 rebounds at the half, didn't grab a single rebound in the third quarter, and then in the last 5 minutes of the game, grabbed 3 rebounds and couldn't quite get one more. Tough one there with Evan Mobley. And then KPJ went over in his assist by 1. Again, when I miss by 1 or hit by 1, I still think it's a good bet. I just, didn't quite go the way I wanted it to go. So just barely missed yesterday on going 2-1, but that's okay. That happens sometimes. We were on an absolute heater, so had to miss eventually. Didn't want to go 0 for 3, but had to miss eventually. So got 3 more plays for you today, guys, so let's get into it. Real quick, if you guys are new to Underdog Fantasy, in the link down in the description below, I have a link that takes you straight to the App Store where you can download Underdog Fantasy because you're going to want to hop in on the action this year. They have added a whole bunch of new features to Underdog Fantasy this year. Starting with the brand new insurance feature, okay? This insurance feature is a new thing that has been super requested for the fans and the customers of Underdog Fantasy. Essentially, all you do is you click insurance right here. And if you can see right there, all you have to do is hit 4 of these picks to win, but the value does drop down. So if you turn off the insurance, you do a $10 bet, you obviously get $200. And if you turn on the insurance feature, it drops down a multiplier down to 10. But if you miss one of these picks, say, Jameis Winston gets hurt or something, he doesn't end up throwing 2 touchdown passes. But everybody else hits, like Lamar, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, and Justin Jefferson. All these guys hit. You still hit the hit, or you still hit the slip. You just get it for $100. Just goes down a multiplier, which is a huge feature a lot of people have been asking for, so they received it. Also, they have added second half lines now to games. Obviously, it is on. There is nothing up because there's no NFL second half games, but they have added NFL second half. So just like for the Thursday night game, I'll throw up that clip right here. Thursday night, they dropped all the second half lines for that Thursday night game between the Bills and the Rams. They've added a bunch of new features this year. They're trying to improve to get the app better for you guys. Also, when you sign up, if you use code TAKEMYSHOT, you'll get $100 match, up to $100 match and 100% deposit match on your first time deposit. So if you do that, you can deposit $50 to get an extra $50, $20 to get an extra $20. Whole lot of stuff coming with Underdog Fantasy this year. Make sure you sign up with code TAKEMYSHOT. Now let's get to today's bets. All right, coming in hot with today's lock of the day. Also, another reason why I threw on the pirate fit is we're gonna steal Underdog's coins today. Let's get on a little pillaging here. The lock of the day is going to be coming from the Brooklyn, Indiana game, the 640 game. Give me Kyrie Irving today over 29.5 points. Going to ride the first hot hand here of the season. The reason I'm absolutely loving this play, in his last 5 straight games, Kyrie Irving is averaging over 39 minutes a game. So he is on the floor for an incredible amount of time, which means obviously the offense at some points has got to run through him, obviously. So I'm loving the fact that he's on the court for nearly the entirety of the game. In his last 5 games, he's hit the over in 4 of those. The only one he just missed there was that game against the against Milwaukee. He missed it by a bucket there in that Milwaukee game. He's also had a lot of success in his history versus the Indiana Pacers in his career, especially as a Brooklyn Net. I went ahead and took the games that he's played without James Harden. He did have a couple games that he played with James Harden, so obviously that big 3, he's not going to put up as much stats. So in the games he played against the Pacers as a Brooklyn Net without James Harden, he's at 28, 35, 35, and 35. So he's averaging 33 points per game as a Brooklyn Net versus the Indiana Pacers. So he's kind of feasting in these games versus the Pacers, who really lack perimeter defense. The only really good perimeter defender they have is Tyrese Halliburton, but even at times he can't guard Kyrie the entire game. So I'm liking Kyrie Irving to have another big game tonight. He did just play them the other night when he had 37 in that matchup, if I'm not mistaken, 35 in that matchup. Played 39 minutes in that game. Pacers ended up winning that game, so the Pacers have been fighting, keeping games close. So I'm liking the fact that game's staying close, getting a lot of minutes, getting a lot of time, and then also he's also obviously putting up a lot of buckets. So give me Kyrie Irving over 29.5 points tonight. All right, next play is going to be De'Aaron Fox over 25.5 points today versus the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte Hornets do give up a lot to starting point guards on the perimeter. They give up 21 points per game to starting point guards. Obviously, that's to every point guard that they've played. 3 guys have gone under and 3 guys have gone over. So 50-50 split right down the middle. The difference between the guys that have gone over and gone under is very different, though, drastically in talent and scoring ability. The guys that went under, Trey Jones, Terrence Ross, and then CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum just came up a little bit short to get 21 in that matchup. So obviously, De'Aaron Fox is in a different scoring realm than Trey Jones and Terrence Ross, obviously. So De'Aaron Fox comes into the game top 15 in scoring, averaging 28 a game, and the average is just a little bit down because he finally had a bad shooting night. I think he went 6 for 17 in that last game versus Miami, so finally had a bad shooting night, or else his average would probably be a lot higher. In his history versus this Charlotte Hornets, he has had a lot of success in these games. He had 21 last year in a game where they blew out the Charlotte Hornets by 30, so he didn't have quite enough time to be on the floor. Then he had 31 in a much closer game in his matchups last year. He's hit this in 4 straight to start the season. He hit it in 4 straight to start the season. De'Aaron Fox did over 25.5 points. He is their clear number 1 option offensively. The Charlotte Hornets struggle to stop point guards. They give up almost the most points in the league to starting point guards, or not starting point guards, but to just point guards in general. They rank 5th in the NBA, giving up 28 points per game to point guards in general. They give up 21 a game to starting point guards. I do anticipate this game to be close. The Charlotte Hornets, they got blown out the other day by the Magic. They picked their act up a little bit better in that next game. So give me Charlotte Hornets to keep it close today with the Kings. I do believe as well that this game is the closest spread of the day at 2.5, if I'm not mistaken, tied with the Atlanta-Toronto game as the closest spread of the day. An over-under of 231, so a lot of anticipated buckets, a close spread. So for those reasons, I'm liking De'Aaron Fox to over 25.5 points today versus the Hornets. And our last play of the day will be Bogdanovic under 17.5 points today versus the Milwaukee Bucks. This tells me absolutely everything I need to know. Most of the time, I'm keeping tabs on a lot of these guys' lines. I like to watch if they go drastically higher, drastically lower. A guy like, for example, Paolo Banchero, obviously he's came out red hot to start the year. He started out at like 17.5. They bumped him all the way up to 23.5 at one point. So that's a guy that's drastically moved up and down. And that's going to be the case here with Bogdanovic here today. Yesterday, his line was 22.5. He's going to start today's line at 17.5. That's a 5-point drop versus this Milwaukee team. That means the guy's averaging 23 points per game on the year. They're going to put his line at 17.5. That means he's going to have a rough defensive matchup today, which is exactly what he's going to have because he's taking on the Milwaukee Bucks that allow only 11.6 points per game to starting power forwards. Obviously, Bogdanovic is the power forward for this team, for the Detroit Pistons. I went and took a deep dive into why he's scoring so much points, is Bogdanovic, and it's kind of interesting. He's kind of all over the place. He kind of scores all over the place. He gets 6 of his 23 point per game average on drive points. He gets 8 points, obviously, off catch and shoot, obviously a pretty good shooter, and he gets 6 points off of just pull-up points. So he actually averages 14 points per game from just shooting alone, 6 points per game from driving. So that's going to be the difference here in this one. Is he averages obviously a lot of points because he shoots a lot of threes, but he actually gets a decent amount of his points, almost 25% of his points from just taking it to the basket, which, again, his matchup today defensively is going to be Giannis, so it's hard to shoot over a 6'10" man. It's hard to drive against that, a defensive player of the year. For those reasons, I'm really going to take that Bogdanovic is not going to be able to have the scoring ability he has in the past. I know he's only gone under once in 6 games this year, and it was against the Pacers. So give me Bogdanovic today to go under 17.5 points against the best power forward defense in the league, and the Milwaukee Bucks is our last play of the day today. All right, guys, so with that being said, it's time for our perfect 3 slip. Going with a lot of points today, actually only points today. So give me Kyrie Irving over 29.5 points today is a lock of the day. De'Aaron Fox over 25.5 points. And I'm just going to say Bogdanovic because I mess it up all the time. Bogdanovic under 17.5 points today versus the Milwaukee Bucks. With that being said, that is going to wrap up today's video, guys. Let's get back on track today. I hate it absolutely hate it when I go for 3, especially the way that I did yesterday, just barely missing on a couple guys. It is what it is. We're not going to win every single day, right? It's impossible to win every single day, but I don't want to go for 3. I don't like that. It's not the brand I like to have, but it does happen sometimes. Enjoy your guys' Halloween today. I know I will be enjoying my Halloween. I will be getting deep into some rum, if you know what I'm saying. Happy Halloween, guys. Peace.